Okay.
The clicker.
The clicker.
Cool.
Have fun.
Yeah. Shit. There we go. All right. How's everybody doing? Cool. Right on. That's great. This is going to be probably weird, uncomfortable for all of us. I don't do this for a living. I work long days and I try to create a buzz and like feed all the families that work at Blackmouth Design. I think what might be best is if I just crush through this slide deck and kind of shake out the bullshit, if you don't mind. My worst nightmare is having to read my phone. I know I'm smarter than that, but the body might get in the way. Anyhow, Blackmouth Design, we're a creative agency on Bainbridge Island. We started in 2013 because I quit my job before I got fired. Anybody else got that story? Because it's kind of fucking hard to deal with, right? Like, gotta go home, talk to your wife. Gonna quit my job because I'm gonna get fired tomorrow. Anyhow, this is all off script, so now it's gonna get real messy. Anyhow, all right, so this is the kind of stuff we do, right? All in a shop on a little island in the Northwest. What you're seeing here is fun little Plinko games for the Gates Foundation. We made 6 of these to represent their 6 global paths, the things they want to fix, you know, water, women's rights, you know, housing. The other end of that, there's our work we do for Nike. This is 2020, March, right before the world shut down. I remember walking out of Nordstrom's in Chicago with Shannon, our project manager, thinking like, hey, I think the world's gonna get really crunchy. I don't know what's gonna happen, but sure shit, it fell apart fast, right? But this is a Jordan pop-up shop through the eyes of the female basketballer. Here's a couple that, this one on the right is a recent project that we can't go public with yet, but it's a Nike investor meeting. I don't know if anybody here knows me or, you know, but I did a couple years at Nike. I'm no like traditional historic Nike guy. Like I didn't go there, I didn't get famous. I'm just a guy that went there and worked for a couple years before I was asked to leave. Anyhow, but we're back working there. And so in 2020, Nike, during the Me Too movement, there was some things that happened there. And I'm not saying the reason Mark Parker left was part of the Me Too movement, but there was like, it was time to clean up these guys from the 70s and like, let's get some fresh meat in there, right? They hired a guy from Johnson & Johnson to represent a company that is pure sport. Like this company, like, there's definitely people there that don't run every day, but this is a company like built on running. Anyhow, last winter, they made it public that this CEO wasn't working out. The market didn't like it, people didn't like it, the fans of Nike didn't like it. So they brought this guy, Elliott Hill, back. And if you don't know who Elliott Hill is, we're gonna be here for like 3 hours if I don't hurry up, sorry. If we, I got time. Elliott Hill is like George Clooney in cowboy boots. Striking, handsome, can run any room. And he kind of walks like a cowboy, kind of like he just got off a horse. Anyhow, this investor meeting was this sort of like celebration. This was the spot where Elliott was gonna kind of take over and tell everybody what's up. All right, another big swing. This is Max, our shop lead, putting his head through a 25-foot tall, fire-breathing, laser-nippled, working butthole cat for the board game company Exploding Kittens. Right? So I didn't intend to like do such big swings between these, but it kind of worked out funny. Anyhow, I think this had like, not this picture, but a similar picture, had like 2 million hits on TikTok. And it should have.
That's a big one.
Here's a fun one. Gensler Architects, global architecture firm. Lots of guys know them. They called us and said, hey, we hear you guys do weird stuff and you're not afraid of anything. And it's like, yeah, cool. Let's go meet. Let's talk. And so we met at T-Mobile and they said they want to do a frozen yogurt cart and an Airstream trailer. And understand this as a company owner, like there's jobs that I want to run to and there's jobs that like kind of keep the lights on. Like, I don't want to take anything away from like retrofitting a really sweet Airstream trailer and turning it into a frozen yogurt cart, but like, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to put my jeans on so fast that day, you know? Anyways, but they go, we need you to pull it through a 9th-story window. And I was like, yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's hang this $200,000 thing from a rope and then swing it through a window with a bunch of people around and, anyhow, so that's what we did. We did. Anyhow, my daughter and I went back to Montana and bought this sweet Airstream trailer. It looked nothing like this. It had been sitting in a storage unit outside in Billings. Dusty, oxidized. Anyhow, we brought it back to life. In order to get into the building, we had to take the axles and wheels off and make this big skateboard for it. Slid it in through the header and then jacked it up, put the wheels and tires back on, and now it's there serving most likely some of the best frozen yogurt in the Northwest. I think that's just one slide. Oh, I did mess it up. Here we go. So here's some recent stuff. This is a 10-foot long, scaled up version of a new take on the traditional Adidas original Superstar shell toe shoe. These are the shoes that the guys in Run DMC made famous. But we were hired to make a gigantic one. And so we got a giant piece of foam. We have this really cool 5-axis CNC machine. And then we have a whole bunch of really talented dudes, which are sitting in the back there, led by Max in the hat. So the way we got it to come to life was through texture and sheen. I mean, the machining was really top notch, but if I were to cruise across here, the file we received from Adidas, this top of this shoe was just super gnarly. And if you're into a 3D modeling space, you understand what I'm saying, but it was chunky and weird. And so we called our old friend John Kuzma over there in the other fancy hat. And I said, hey man, I need you to carve this thing so it looks like a shoe. And I knew he'd do it because I've been working with him for 14 years, it seems like, and known him for what I think is 20. He came up and he carved it out, and then Joey and Max and team, masked it off, made the white look white, made the Superstar look printed, made the tongue of the shoe even look like the Adidas Superstar tongue. Super awesome and super fun to roll through the campus at Adidas and have everybody look around. This job here is for the Grammy Museum down in LA. And this job literally was pitched to us. Please understand that we didn't design this. This was designed by a company called Curious Beast, headed up by a guy named Ken Burns, the other Ken Burns. 16 of these tubes, which represent a channel on a mixer, and each one can be controlled by a human. And at the top, there is what kind of sensor is it, John? Infrared sensor, IR sensor. Is that right? Did I do that right? IR. Okay, cool. You can control the light and the sound by just where you have your hands up and down this thing. And so imagine a bunch of 6-year-olds in there mixing, right? Because we kind of almost hurt my chest a little bit thinking about that. But yeah, so the whole thing runs on a custom composed piece of music, but then 60 people can go in there and recreate it or give it a new perspective. We just finished that one. It just kind of went public just 30 days ago. It's super cool, and I know I'm super proud of it because I got a napkin sketch of this thing, and they asked me if we can do it, and I said yes, and then I walked away how the fuck am I going to do this? And then I just have faith. I've got this insane network, right? And I'll talk about that in a minute in this 3-hour presentation. But I know we always hit it. We always hit the mark. It may not come to us until 48 hours before it ships. It may go together in the back of the truck while it's running. We may have guys in the back of the truck when it hits the ferry. It's just, that's what we do. We figure it out. We relentlessly figure it out. Anyways, John Jacobson, Bainbridge Island man back there, he figured it out. And not without some trial and error and some money spent, but he figured it out and he made it kind of bulletproof. So it's down in LA. We don't have to go down there and fix it all the time. Anyways, maybe I'll go faster. Let's see. More Gates Foundation. This is football. Nike has an event every year called the Opening. It's where all the badass high school kids come in and show their stuff. Anyways, we brought the turkey to Thanksgiving that year. Adidas Solo Stove trade show booth. designed by a company down in Portland called Ceremony. Really great people, lots of good tattoos. Here's our friend the cat with the laser nipples. Yeah, so understand this, like in 2020, this job was brought to us. And Matt, who online is the oatmeal, he's the brains behind Exploding Kittens. And he lives on Bainbridge Island now. He's from a little town in Idaho. God, I wish I could tell that story, but I'm gonna run out of time. Anyways, we made this for an event they were having down in Portland at the convention center. COVID happened. This thing lived in a 53-foot trailer for 3 years out at Hill Moving. Anyways, we put it back together, and now we got to set it up at San Diego Comic-Con in an asphalt parking lot. July, August, I can't remember. It was fucking hot. Anyhow, Max and I and a couple other guys went down, and yeah, there was lots of a lot of hydration, lots of sweat everywhere, and it was super cool. Like just that building behind, just the scale of this thing was nuts. Snow Peak, Japanese camping brand down in Portland. We did that down in Long Beach. They took over an old KOA campground and turned it into like an architectural masterpiece. Filson up on Whidbey Island. These are some lo-fi, like analog drunken bandmates that we made for Filson Holiday a few years back. It was cool, like speaking of network again, like we did all the engineering in-house and all the CNC routing in-house. Our good friend John Crane, who's not here, put them all together. And then my little brother is a cartoonist. And I said, hey dude, do you think you can paint these for me? And he kind of came up from Portland and painted them all. Yeah, it was super cool. T-Mobile container, it turned into a kitchen at one of their satellite offices. This is our first big job we did back in 2013. It's Emerald Water Anglers in West Seattle. Put this together in my garage, in my driveway, with my wife's uncle. It was crazy, but that's how companies start. Like this didn't start because I'm some like, you know, like rich kid that dad gave him this kind of thing. It's like, it was a holy shit moment and something had to change. Nike Air for Air Max Day 2017, 2018. This is a collective. It's a membership-based outdoor enthusiast club over in Seattle. 17,000 square feet. The reason we got this job is because Gensler Architects designed it way too rad, and the package cost like $2 million, and which isn't atypical to architects. I'm not shaming Gensler, but I met the guys behind this whole operation, and they said, hey, we hear that you can make magic, and this is how much money we have to spend. And I was like, yes, we have to redesign it immediately, kind of water it down, get rid of some of the brass and the gold and all the things that Andy at Gensler is good at doing. But it's up on, is it Dexter? Across from the, what's the camera shop over there?
Oh, Lasers?
Yeah, across the street. Some REI stuff. Nike Air Max Day, like 2019. I'll come back to this one. This is a 30-foot by 10-foot tall LED screen TV that was in the corner of Nordstrom's downtown. Goose Nest for Feathered Friends in Seattle. And then this was a sweet one. It was this just geodesic dome that we were trying to push when, not that it's gotten any better or it doesn't need the same attention, but like the homeless problem, right? Like I had an uncle that was homeless. We picked him up every Christmas. It was wild. There's a lot there, right? Lots to unpack. Anyhow, but we tried selling these to the city and or trying to find some like angel investor to help us build these camps up and down I-5 just to get people off the ground or protect people that are running from something. It didn't quite work out, but we might hit it again. There's some interest. Anyways, that's what we do for a living. So if you didn't know who we were, now you do. Bunch of creative people that say yes more than no, right? So that's my 20 minutes. I'm kidding. But let's see here. What I wanted to say is just a couple things. So we talked about who I am. We talked about our company. You guys can see what we've done before. I made a sweet little joke here. Parallel, straight lines. It's horizontal. It's vertical. It's parking for some of us that know how to do it. Anyhow, so let's talk about this. So I grew up in Southeast Portland. My mom was 17 when she had me. I get a little choked up here. It's tough growing up with your parents. I had this memory of going to a barbecue or like a party at this couple's house, Roxanne and Monty. You knew those guys were up to no good, right? But I'm like 10 years older than the next kid. It's like when everybody goes away from high school and you guys have babies, but that one girl had a baby a long time ago. That was me, right? Anyhow, so growing up with your parents growing up, like you grew up maybe a little bit different, like you got to figure it out. There's no mentors really, right? And maybe you learn from watching people do things the wrong way, right? It's kind of my parallel hit, like it's good that you learn, even if you got to learn from bumping your head sometimes, right? Anyhow, so I grew up in Southeast Portland, real close to a couple landmarks for certain people, one of which was Vic's Tavern, and the other one was a place called the Acropolis. And when I was a kid, the guys I wanted to be like were, this one guy in particular is probably, well, I won't say what I was going to say, but I wanted to be a biker when I grew up. I mean, who didn't want to be a fucking biker when they grew up, right? I mean, the denim jeans, the cuffs, this and that, the black boots, loud, noisy bike, just raising hell. Okay. I look back now, though, and I think these guys are like maybe bad dudes, maybe kind of toxic masculinity, right? So that brings me, I'm going to have to crush through some of this. So this whole Glengarry, Glen Ross thing that Amber mentioned at the beginning, right? So it's this incredible movie that came out in the 90s, based on a play in the late 80s. Stars Al Pacino, it stars Alec Baldwin for about 15 minutes. And Jack Lemmon, Ed Harris, and Alan Arkin, if you know that guy, right? So it's just this room of these shithead salespeople, these guys that'll sell anything to make their commission, and their business is selling crappy property in the desert out of this like folded trifold brochure. They're the slimiest of the slimy. For some reason, though, I wanted to be these guys when I grew up too. I don't know why. Anyways, I got my dream job in my 20s, working for Klein Bicycles, designing bicycles. And that didn't help me. Like, I got a huge ego, and I'm aligning with these shithead salespeople. Anyways, fast forward to my 30s, I kind of start getting my shit together a little bit, right? And start losing that ego that got me nowhere. And I recognize that maybe it's time to go out on my own. I recognize that I have a value, right? My value is like my ability to connect with people, or my ability to have like lots of friends that make stuff for a living. I'm totally freestyling this now. And I start my side hustle, right? Because I have a lot of debt from my early 20s when I had this first really great, poorly executed idea that was a clothing company. And so what I did is started a side hustle doing design engineering and creative work late at night, and I did it for years. So I crushed all that debt, bought a sweet crib from West Elm or Pottery Barn for my daughter, who's here. And 2009, I got laid off, went on my own for a year, freelancing. And then I ended up at Nike for 2 years running a team of project managers that manage how Nike looks at wholesale. So like when you walk into a Nordstrom's or a Dick's Sporting Goods, that's what they did. And then 2 years later, I get a call from my old friend Nelson. This really great, I'll just say it, my old Jewish mentor from New York. And I want to do an impersonation of him, but I can't. It's so nasally, but it's like, Richard, you're moving to Seattle. And I go, what are you talking about? Nelson's like, you're going to run the Starbucks store design studio. And I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. So Nelson was friends with Arthur Rubenfeld, the number 2 at Starbucks. And so I went up there, I met Arthur, and we hit it off just great. But I started my job after moving my family up, asking my wife to quit her job. And I called her, I'm like, this place is not for me, and I am not for them. And the reason is really simple. Like, I've always been a good enough designer, a good enough engineer, a good enough sales guy, but I am a fucking horrible politician. And that is a big brand. I mean, when I'm walking around Nike, there's hundreds of people trying to make themselves famous and doing it. Get Starbucks, it's a different jam. It's no longer sport, it's coffee, right? So it's a different thing, right? Sprinkle that with that Seattle chill bit. Like, it did not work for me, man. Like, I just couldn't run. I couldn't get out and do my thing. And so I lasted less than 12 months. I talked to you about the ending. Started my company. And we literally started this company off of people, like, I compare it to Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction, the cleaner. Anybody remember that scene? Okay. I fix problems. People got a problem in design. People have a problem with manufacturing. They call me, and we fix it. And a lot of times it's timeline based. Like just yesterday, this wasn't even part of the speech. The Dior brand calls me. Hey, I don't know you. You know, maybe you know us. I mean, I know them. I don't use their products. I mean, look at me, right? My daughter was excited when she heard about Dior. But they're like, hey, we had some stuff fall apart, and we need some people in the city on Monday and Tuesday. And I'm like, well, show me what you need. I'll sit down with Max and we'll talk about it. And Max and I talked about it. We had one path that would, put guys in the city. It's tough working on the island and working in the city because there's like 4 extra hours on every day. Anyway, so we had this kind of theme built where we'd put guys in a hotel as a hub in case they needed a nap, because the plan was to go to Bellevue at 9 o'clock and then go to Alderwood Mall at 7 a.m. and it's a long day. Like, I've done it 100 times, but I don't want my guys doing it just because I did it. So anyhow, so then we came with a new idea. A couple guys that night, a couple guys that morning. I'll be one of them. And we said yes, right? That's what we do. We say yes. You can't, if you're in a sales role, you can't say no too much. You can't say no. You can say no to the bad people. Like, trust me, like that's one of my big roles is keeping the cancer out of my company. And every couple of years, somebody will find their way in, or maybe we'll be in a pinch and we're just coming out of a global pandemic and I need cash flow. Welcome in, shithead, right? Like, it's hard. Like, it's not all like, that's the thing about these sort of presentations, right? Like, we want to talk aspirational and inspirational and all the beauty and all the, it's just love and hugs and, like, whatever. But there's another side of it too, which is like, shit your pants, I can't make payroll. How am I going to figure it out? I got 48 hours. I better show up in the mailbox today at lunch. Like, that's our world. But we don't want to lean into that too much because that just happens. We got to try to defend against it. So I have to wrap it up. I'm sorry. So the whole idea here is like just trying to create that, like, find your value. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to fit in at Starbucks. You may have to create your own little world like I did, because I kind of did that, right? Like, I created a place where people like me can come, maybe use inappropriate language, make awesome stuff for cool clients. So just, you're valuable, and grab and hang on to every one of those good connections you've made so far, and don't be afraid to make other ones in the future. Thank you. Oh. Is there a Q&A?
We'd love for you to continue talking.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to have to cut you.
Okay, sorry.
One rule is a 20-minute speech. But what's great, and why we think that is now, it's an open discussion and a Q&A time.
Oh, okay, cool. Ready to go. What's up?
How do you approach when said shit has appeared in your spaces in orbit? Like, what's the, if you see someone where their like culture that they bring in, you can tell is not great.
Yeah.
And maybe a little infectious even.
Yeah.
How do you approach that? Like, do you have a team that you kind of talk it over with? Do you just kind of face to face with them? How's that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of points on that Chinese star. I don't know where that came from. Sorry, but it is. It's a lot, like, because it's hard. Like, some days they're like, oh shit, we have to make payroll. You know what I mean? Like, or we have to, health insurance is a thing. You know what I mean? trust me, in like the 12 years we've done like 1,000 jobs, and there's like three bad people in there, or 3 people that want my head on a stick. How about that? Right? And that's pretty good math. But I want to work for people like us that happen to have massive budgets for big brands and need to go fast. But more importantly, I need I need humility. And the big one this one's gonna just break me loose. Emotional intelligence or emotional integrity, like I don't know what you call it, but like there's empathy and there's sympathy. That shit, I'll take all day long. Roll up the big doors, Max, like let the love in, right? That's what I want. Like ego, man, like I can't stand it. And I had a client that was a bread and butter client for a long time, got me through the pandemic. But as soon as I found the stopping point, I cut it loose. And I tried my best to like not be me and let him make that decision, because it's hard for me because I'm a people pleaser. But it's mostly like they can't come with the ego no matter what. I don't care if it's $1 million for a pair of sunglasses. Like, you can't come in, you're not welcome. Here's my big one. I'm not taking you fishing. Like, that's the guy. I'm not gonna sit in a boat all day with that asshole, right? Like, no way. I don't have sweet math for it, but if it was complicated, I would sit down with, like right now I can sit down with Alicia, I can sit down with Max, and we can kind of like 3-legged stool it out, and, and find the pros, find the cons. But like, yeah, man, it's because it's so hard. Even with an employee, man, like you let them in and something changes immediately. I don't know what it is. And it hasn't happened a lot, but cancer-y thing. Hi.
Oh, I was going to say, agreed. People are the hardest I've been doing business for 20 years, and people are still the hardest thing ever. Mm-hmm. My question is, you've done so many projects, what's your favorite? Is it the exploding kittens? Is it more like serious? Or do you like to play more, if that makes sense?
I love to be challenged. I love to be dared to do stuff. Like impossible stuff that I know I'm really jeopardizing my career on. Like how are we gonna do this? That kind of stuff. I don't know, it's sick, it's gross, it's horrible. Like, why the
So you risk it for the biscuit?
Well, but the biscuit's got a couple different sides, a couple different layers, like, yeah, I love, trust me, no bullshit, like I love making money, I love closing deals. I had Tiger Woods across the shop. Not so much anymore because it's a lot, man. Like 10 years ago, there was like 3 of us. And now, before COVID, we were 24 people deep, and I joke around like we had Jack and we had this other kid out back of our shop. They just smoked cigarettes all day because we knew we were going to need them somewhere during the day, because that was our jam. Like, Nike's calling, we need it in 2 hours. Oh my God, call Jack. Or that's kind of us. Sorry, I totally went off target there. Hi.
I was wondering, I work as a project manager with a lot of creative folks. And I think that there's an interesting, we'll say parallel between a gut risk decision and a calculated risk decision.
Yeah.
What has your experience been between the two and kind of navigating that world?
Yeah, I barely graduated high school. It took me 5 years to get my associate's degree. So I'm not that analytical. I try to be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm analytical when I'm looking at the cash flow. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? But it's all gut. Everything in my company, everything in me is gut check. Like, this doesn't feel right. I'm turning around, I'm going the other way. I always try to be respectful, try to be kind, try to be cool and calm. But yeah, it's tough, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love what I do, and I never thought I would love it as much as I do. I mean, like, the hard, the good, the great, the big cats. God, I want to answer that question. What's my favorite job? I really, I don't know, because that cat was fun, but like it came with some pain too. There was a lot of power struggle at times, like I'm the guy on the hook if things go south. Like if there's a warranty issue or if somebody gets hurt, like my core trade is DIY engineer. I say it that way because Kyle's here and he's a real engineer. But like, I know how things go together. And then when I hit my little engineering glass ceiling, whatever you want, that's not right, but you know what I'm saying. I call Mike, our structural engineer partner, and say, hey dude. And like that cat, you know, like it was designed to go inside. But now that it's outside in a parking lot in San Diego, there's wind, right? And this thing wants to do Tacoma Bridge, right? It's crazy. And so Mike's like, you got to get some bracing in there quick. And so we did, right?
So
but like,
think of the minds.
it's network, man. It's network. Like, when I started this company, my wife goes, yes, you can start the company. Go ahead. But don't you ever make anything. Because she knows that, like, I'm undiagnosed something. There's something there, right? Like, and I went and got checked recently, and they said no. And I'm like, oh. But there is something there that, like, I can't finish a project. You know, it's total ADD or ADHD, whatever you call it. You know, like, I'll walk up the stairs with tools in my hands. I'll come down in pajamas. You know, like, I don't. It's just, it's weird. And so she's like, you can't make anything because it'll never get finished. So, like, I hire pros that make it,
So you
right?
do the visionary part and then they execute.
Yeah, that's really it. Like, I'm the hub, right? Like, it's just like the old days when I was hustling, right? Because that was part of my speech. Like, I'm a couple steps away from a drug dealer, street hustler, but they always come back. The first one's for free. Anyhow, sorry. Hi.
Did you have any mentors or anybody who inspired you to go in the right direction at certain parts of your life?
So I have this part of the speech. I have the opposite of mentors. I had people, God, 55 years old almost, and I'm still doing this. Opposite mentors. I'm not going to be like that guy. I'm not going to be like her. I'm not going to be like him. But then I'm like, I want to be like that biker guy. You know, like, I had this joke about when I grew up, I wanted to have a big belt buckle, and I wanted to have cuff jeans, and I want to look good in a tank top like that biker. And I got 2 out of 3, right? It's good to have goals. We all know that, right? But yeah. Anything else? Hi.
One more.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
How much of your business comes to you, and how much, active pitching do you do?
Yeah.
Are you at a point where people are just...
Well, people come to us word of mouth for sure. I was just telling Lola last night. Lola, by the way, blonde young lady over there, getting ready to go to art school. Woo! I don't do a lot of marketing. My wife is a marketer. I get it. I don't know. This is probably marketing, right? What I'm doing right now. But we don't pay for it, right? Because it's hard enough. Like, what the fuck was I thinking starting this kind of company on a little island in the Pacific Northwest? Like, we got problems getting plywood. We got problems getting screws. I got problems getting people, like, project manager, do you have a job? Do you want a job? Like 5-axis CNC programmers, like, if it wasn't for John saving my ass, like, we'd still be looking for that guy. Like, we need designers. You know what I need right now is I need a CAD drafter. I need 4 of them, So tell all your friends. Sorry, I'll calm down. Yeah, it's word of mouth, right? Like, and just, I don't know, man. I think it's a lot of manifestation. It's like, I know it's going to happen. I'm that guy. The universe has got me. And some days I get a little pissed at the universe when it doesn't happen, but I keep doing that, right? It's Emerald Water Anglers, that job in West Seattle, got us feathered friends. Salt Lake City Hotel for Evo Skate and Snowboards just got us a new job designing, building, and installing a new interpretive center at Zion National Park. Right? That's fucking huge, man. Like, I've never been. Get a free road trip out of it. But no, the work's going to be great. The people are cool, and they're just dealing with a little bit of the stress with some of this federal national parks crap, right? And so they're doing their best. So that starts in May. But those are like the only 2 jobs that I really know that we've gotten for a particular reason. And then there's, of course, returning clients, right? That's us. And there's the, oh, you got a problem? Call Rich, you know? And call Rich means call Black Mouth now, right? Yeah.
Even